Well, welcome to Cooking with Heart, Foundational Class 3. So I'm so excited to see like all those seats filled out here. So we've got a great class. We've got several people online. Yay. So I'm excited today. I've got several things to share with you. But first off, who was it? Let's see, I did the test, okay? I did the pop, water, and onion test for avocado because I love avocado. And if I can find a way to extend the like browning, I am like, and guess what? I'm on cloud 9 because one of them worked. Let me show you. Oh, it's really just get to the fridge. Okay. So, here's what I did. Okay. So those guys at home, you're not going to believe this. So, okay. So here is my avocado. Let's see, can you guys see that? Okay. You can see it up there maybe a little bit? Okay. I put this in the onions on Saturday night.
And it's Thursday night now.
I will pass this around, guys. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
How bad does it take on the taste?
Well, it really doesn't. I would think unless you're making mousse out of it.
Right.
Chocolate mousse.
Yeah.
But most like 95% of my uses are just in things. Thank you, Christy. I searched and I found this guru I love now. I love her. She has several hacks I'm going to share. But she showed a picture how she just cut, just like Christy said, just cut it in half.
Does it matter?
And put it.
Onion? Yep.
Nope.
White, yellow?
Nope. What a cheap way.
Wow.
I threw more avocados away till I.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. So that's just, oh my goodness. Now we just need to figure out how we can box up sulfate gas so then we can make $1 billion, okay? Because it's a sulfate gas.
I was gonna say, I just got some homework coming on.
So that's your assignment, guys. We're going to make $1 billion. So, okay.
So I have a question about
Yes.
the onion. Is the onion still okay to use, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I read on the internet, so it must be.
Yes.
that Once you cut an onion, you can't keep it. You have to throw it away.
Oh, no.
Because of
Is
these.
that true?
Well, let me look into how long you can use it for. Because we're getting up on a week, but you can definitely use it. I cut them up all the time. So, and use it 3-4 days later. So, but let's make that a note to kind of find out because we don't want somebody getting E. coli.
I usually.
So, there again, guys, all you have to do at home is cut an onion, any onion, and just put it in there. And it's amazing. There's no water, nothing. It's not mushy. It's turned a little bit in places, but oh my god, I'd still use that. So yeah, okay, that is.
Can you get on the internet?
Can I put that on the?
Once you cut an onion, you can't keep it.
We're gonna find out about how long we can keep onions because so we don't want anybody gets sick. So okay, we're gonna start off with reading labels. So those guys at home, I'm gonna give you like 10 seconds to run to your kitchen and get a product with a label on it. So it has to have some packaging on it, not a fresh fruit or anything like that. So go. So because we're gonna go over label reading. Really important to understand how to read labels. I'll just grab one thing here. What I like. So okay. Give a few more seconds. So, okay. And today, let's see, we're talking about tofu. You figured that out from some of the things up here. We're also going to be doing wraps and a nearly instant sushi bowl. So if you haven't ever tasted seaweed before, you are tonight. So awesome. Okay. So label reading. So the package, ignore the front. That's a standstill commercial. Thousands of dollars are spent on it. A lot of things that are not entirely true are put there. So we're going to go to the back or the side where you have the nutritional facts and the ingredients list. The ingredients list is really important. So the nutrition facts, there's in total, I only look at 5 things. It gets way too confusing, time consuming to look at so many things. So I want to keep it simple, even what I do. First, look at the serving size. And the only reason we look at that is to see, is this something I'm going to eat this much of, or a little more, or a little less? Nobody's telling you you need to eat that much. It's just a starting point. They're much better than they used to be. So did you get a product, Shane? Oh, you did. Okay, you already looked at yours. So so you just need to know, do I need to increase it, decrease it? And then also, if you were comparing to another product, you need to make sure they're the same. Usually they are nowadays, but occasionally you'll find a difference. Okay, so next then you go to saturated fat. Just ignore total fat and calories. I really could care less. So saturated fat, we want no more than 10 grams. Remember from the first, 10 grams. Just think fingers, toes. How many do I have? 10. So I don't ask you to remember too many numbers, but this is one of them.
And
10
per meal?
Nope, sorry, Sherry, thank you. That is for the whole day, 10 grams. Whole day, 10 grams. Beverages, snacks, meals, everything. If we can keep that down, oh my goodness, your cholesterol is going to go down. So, and remember, it's not because we're eating cholesterol, it's just how your body, if your body freaks out when we get too much saturated fat. So, okay, then I'm going to go down to sodium. So I skipped cholesterol, I skipped all those other things. So go to sodium. And if you have a high blood pressure or on high blood pressure meds, then you want to keep 1500 for the whole day, snacks and beverages. 1500. I know that's an odd number. It's even worse when you're not high blood pressure. It's 2300 if you don't have high blood pressure. Okay, and the average American is 4,000 to 5,000. So most of us need to really reduce it. And some people will be like, well, Teresa, I had it at the table. Well, okay, a third comes from the table and cooking, 2/3 from our products. So you gotta really, both of them, you gotta work on. Okay, so sodium. Add that up throughout the day. Do it a couple times because you're going into sticker shock. Sodium, really, you would not believe how much sodium is in things. Oh my goodness. The UK has actually started to outlaw, like put a limit on things, and hopefully we'll follow suit somewhere. There's actually rumblings that something will happen. Then we go to you can go to fiber if you want to. I don't, because there's so much manipulation that can be done there, and sugar. Instead, I then go to the ingredient list. That's all I look at, the nutritional facts, guys. Now, if you want to look at the sugar, because a lot of people do, you do need to watch the sugar. There's a couple different ways we'll watch it, but you can look at the added sugar. And the added sugar should be definitely no more than 10 grams. Definitely. Okay, 10 grams is 2.5 teaspoons of sugar. So you want, if you're a female, no more than 24 grams of added sugar a day. That's the recommendation, 24, and you're going to use it up quickly. 24. It's 6 teaspoons equivalent. Okay, I'm telling you, you're going to shoot. That one's going to like, oh my goodness. And then for men, it's 9 teaspoons or 36 grams. Okay, so remember that affects your cholesterol, the sugar. So what we do, the nutrition facts, or excuse me, the ingredients, you want to read it for sugar. I usually read it for sugar. I want to see if one of the top 3 to 5 ingredients is a word for sugar. Because if it is, it's pretty much sugar, that product. Because your ingredients are listed by weight. That's why sometimes you'll see water listed there by weight. So it's not like we do in the US measuring cups and tablespoons. It's like the UK. They actually have recipes they weigh. So top 3 to 5, if you got a word for sugar, and they rarely ever will put the word sugar. They will put things like glucose, fructose, galactose, maltose, anything OSE, it's sugar. And then anything else, because there's 61 names for sugar that can be put on a label, 61. So anything you have a hunch is sugar, it's sugar. Okay, evaporated this and that, honey, agave, they're all sugar in your bloodstream, guys. They might carry a few other vitamins, minerals, fun stuff, but they're sugar. That's how our body's going to process them. Okay, next thing, fiber or whole grain. So I'm not going to look at the fiber because that can be manipulated. And many manufacturers wanting to get to a healthy food market kind of, they have added just like tablespoons of fiber to get the fiber up, but it's not whole grain, meaning it came from a whole food. So whole grain means it has the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. It's intact is the word I like to use, intact. It's all there like Mother Nature and not stripped down and then added back in, because we know we can't do as good a job as Mother Nature. So that's going to be things like you're looking for whole food grains, quinoa, brown rice, amaranth, oats. Those are words. Whole grain, whole wheat. Okay. So you're probably not going to find it in a product in the top couple ingredients. You might find it down in the ingredient list, but it's not a good, unless it's the top 3 to 5, it's not really a good source. So usually, like today, we're going to make a side of brown rice. Usually you just have to add your own grain, make it on the side. And like we said before, quinoa is so easy to make and make it for the week. So there's so many out there. So I listened to a podcast by the Stanford, he's a researcher that does a lot of actually human trials. And he said with carb, he said so much of our carb in the US is enriched, meaning it's just the endosperm, it's not whole grain. When they look at people's intakes, 80% is enriched. So, and people want to talk to me about bread. The bread aisle is pretty much all thumbs down. Okay. Sorry to break the news, but you're going to have bread. So actually in my house, I let my kids eat white bread, Wonder Squishy white bread, because there is no difference between that. The only one that's going to make a difference is Ezekiel frozen bread. Do you think my kids are going to make a sandwich out of that? No, not for a while. Okay. Not until they're like in their 40s, probably. So I'm like, okay, just let them eat the peanut butter with the Wonder Bread. So that's just the way I approach it, because I don't want to teach them that the wheat or brown colored bread is actually good for them, because it's not really, guys. It just poof. It's like a couple seconds behind the Wonder Bread. So there might be a few that are exception, but in general, it's Ezekiel, the Daniel bread that have a lot of sprouted and different grains and germs in them, and they are not good plain. Okay, they're very hearty. They're great as toast. That's what I do. I toast them. So,
How about rye bread, like stuff that's seeded rye?
a little better, but it's not, I wouldn't even classify it as one of your whole grains. It's just not good enough. Maybe there's an exception out there that I'm just being a little closed-minded about. So I'm willing to look at the label, but I'm just telling you, the food manufacturers would like you to think there's a lot of, on the shelves, good sources of fiber that are whole grain. There aren't. Okay, they're few and far between. So because they've done a lot of just misleading us. Yes, Sherry.
So what do you use in place of bread if you want a sandwich?
I don't eat sandwiches. I do toast for dinner sometimes, avocado toast with tomato and mushrooms and stuff like that. That's my quick meal. So yeah, I just go with like French bread or something, like a baguette. If I'm gonna have bread, I'm gonna have good stuff and a little bit of it. But I'm not gonna fool myself eating something I'm not crazy about that I'm thinking is halfway healthy. So it's not really. So just and actually bread for those 50 and older is actually one of the top 6 offenders for salt. Because if you make homemade bread, you don't like leave out the salt. You have to have salt. So, and bread products in general, start reading them. Even tortillas have like 240 milligrams of sodium. Okay, one. So, okay. So next week we are going to cover this 2 magical concepts that are really important to understand when you're eating for health. One of them I learned and saw in action when I worked at a spa resort. I did that during my internship, so it was a really brief time, because at once upon a time I thought I wanted to be a spa dietitian, but it's something they use to help their guests feel good, lose weight, and have fun. Okay, so you're going to learn that next week. And the other thing is mindful eating. We're going to do a mindful eating exercise together because it's really, really important to understand mindful eating. So, and we're going to do a lot of chocolate next week. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. I want to take a pause and let you guys share what things that you have learned. And I did clarify real well with the little action step thing. So my little action step sheet, what my plan is after week 1, so when you come back week 2 and week 3 this week, that you start to think about what you learned in the last week. So that top part is really for you to write a couple things about you putting into action your intentions. Now, you may not have gotten around to your action step. That's a learning too, okay? Maybe you took too big a step. Maybe you started the wrong place. Maybe life is really crazy right now, okay? So those are all learning. So I want you to start reflecting on the week before and thinking, what did I learn? What did I observe? Everything's a success because it's a learning. So what did I learn? Oh gosh, I want to work on that. Oh, that one turned out really well. And I grabbed that, and so start writing and observing these so you commit and you start continuing that journey. And then on the action step, you'll see for the week, of course, this week, week 3, if you pull that out, I want you to write your observations in the top for last week. And then the bottom, you will throughout class decide on what your action steps are for next week. So that's kind of what my intention was. But I really want you to start the habit of reflecting what works, what doesn't, what you need to pivot on, what you need to drop. So what you're learning about yourself, all those stuff. So, okay, so share, what sort of things did you discover at home? Go ahead and send the comments or take yourself off mute. So here.
I use more veggies.
Jennifer used more veggies. Yes, awesome.
And portion size.
And portion size. Did you switch plates or did you?
Yes, which plate?
Jennifer switched plates. Yes. So there you just shaved off 22% of your calories. Simple change. Makes it easy. It's amazing. Others.
I made the kale salad.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was skeptical. I was like, okay, it's good. It's green. It's good for me. And it tasted good. And my husband ate some. So this was like,
Oh.
wow.
Yes.
So maybe kale will happen.
Maybe it
Maybe
will.
maybe it will happen again. Is what I think.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm grateful that you shared that recipe.
Good.
That's a one.
Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yay. Made the kale salad. I love that salad. Yes. Carol.
Well, I started looking through my stuff and I found 2 Tupperware things that stack about this, like that. And I filled them up with the vegetables and kept them in. They fit really nicely in the refrigerator. So, no, in the middle.
No.
You see, you
You open it up.
You
there
see
they
it
are.
right there. Got it.
And that's, I find that.
Have you been reaching for the things in there? Then a little more, do you think?
Well, actually, I keep my cookies in the pantry, so that's.
Yes. So Carol
It
switched.
really is,
things
it really is a good way to do it. Have that ready to
Yes.
cut up vegetables so you've got them there.
You got it. You can snack or, like so often I have them ready and then I'll just like add them in the salad or the wrap or the whatever I'm making that night. I'm like, oh, I can easily put this together. So yeah, so awesome. Other?
I learned how to over-reduce balsamic.
Oh, so you got super thick.
Yeah, I made balsamic taffy.
Oh, shady balsamic taffy. Yes, yes. It can get really thick.
Yeah, really destroyed about half a bottle in no time at all.
Well, you didn't burn it. You didn't say you burned it, so that's good. So it's amazing how it thickens once you take it off.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching it and it was liquid as liquid can be. And then I ran to the bathroom for a second. When I came back, it was.
Okay. Well, so often we've got to do it not as intended the first time. And then we know just how we want to do it the second time. So you're going to give it a second try, Shane?
Heck yeah, I got half a bottle of it.
Okay. Yes. Okay, well, share with us next time how that goes. Yes.
I learned I have a lot of utensils that I forgot I had.
Oh, okay. So you went through your drawers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That will make things quicker. Yeah. Wonderful. So do you have some duplicates maybe?
No, I didn't really have hardly anything in duplicates. because
Okay.
I have gone through them, like a couple of years ago. And I took a bunch of stuff down to my grandkids in
Yeah.
Arizona. And I gave them all kinds of dishes and things out of my cupboards because I wasn't using them. And this was 2 years ago, so, but anyway, I took them some of that stuff too. So I just gave them all my duplicates. I didn't give them anything.
Okay. Okay.
to choose. But, no, there was other things that I had forgotten over the 2 years that I had them in there.
Sure.
I rearranged things and the things I don't hardly use at all, I put in a box and put them down in the bottom shelf.
Wow. So Kay rearranged things and put things that she's using closer and took out of reach
Yeah.
things that she's not using regularly. Awesome.
And that way I have more room because every one of them was a little overstuffed.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. Okay, now it's gonna be easier. That's the thing. You loot the ones that you want. People don't realize that. By stuffing the drawers, you can't find things. Now you're gonna be able to find things quicker. So awesome. Okay. So just a reminder that you are choosing to do this. You are choosing to be here. So pat yourself on the back. So this is a lot of fun. So you're boosting your health. Okay, so quiz time. So help me out here. What are the 4 key principles to success that we went over in the first class? Do you remember any of them?
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Yes, that's a big one. Thank you. Baby steps. Yes.
Have an open mind.
Have an open mind. Yes, and we're going to need to put that into practice tonight. Yes. Everybody's laughing really good here. So, okay. Yes. So what else?
Be kind to yourself.
Be kind, self-compassion. Yes, this is hard stuff. Everybody struggles, guys. Yes. And last one is, oh, we're missing it. We're missing the wine glass. So it's been put back. Oh, what happened to it? Here's where I normally have kept it for years, but it's disappeared. So is it there? There
I
it is.
didn't know where it went.
Okay. So have fun. So yes. So, oh, speaking of which, I brought one of my fun plate. And my daughter said the other day, she's like, Mom, I need to get a fun plate because she knows this is my fun plate. So we have fun bowls. She has a fun bowl. So she got hers at the Asian store. That is a fun place for my kids. That's like for our fun time. We go to the Asian store. We're a little different, but that's where we love to go. But this is my special plate that the kids know they have to ask permission. And when I eat off of that, I know that's my signal to slow down, eat mindfully, and savor each bite. So just find your ways to make things enjoyable. It is a mindset thing, guys. So if you can just start pivoting. Okay, so let's hop over to our topic for tonight. So let's see. I can share. That's what I need to do.
Didn't catch what the 4th one was.
Oh, have fun. Have fun.
Have fun.
Have fun. Yes. Okay. So what's the big deal about plants? Okay. So our quote for the day is, even in this high-tech age, the low-tech plant continues to be the key to nutrition and health. So plants, so basic, simple, but it's the way to go. So this Stanford researcher that I listened to a 2.5-hour podcast when I went up to move my son in Ames, he said if he was the Surgeon General, he would have the U.S. population increase their vegetables. That would be his #1 thing. And then he said beans. He said beans are the forgotten golden food. So he's like, it's inexpensive. There's so many things you can do with it. Its storage is easy. So it was amazing to hear him. But he's like, we could just make huge changes with those simple things. So, and he does a lot of things to encourage this. He even like has like some big garden out there that he takes counselors and elementary age kids, his students at Stanford out there. And some people have totally changed their careers and their life just by seeing the food grow and understanding and they actually make dishes at the end of the day together. They get a portable stoves and make food out in the field. So it sounds pretty cool. So, okay, what does plant-focused eating mean to you? What pops
The
into your
majority of the meal be plant-based.
Okay, majority of the meal plant-based. Yes, so we haven't taken meat off the table, so to speak. So yes, it's plant-focused. Yes. Other ideas? A quiet bunch tonight. That's okay. That's
Sometimes
okay.
Trying different things to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
keeping it bored.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So awesome. Okay. So you have this in your binder. It should be in the first week, I think, or is it in this week? I think it's in the first week. So there, and it's really important. You can put it out, put it in your fridge, something to remind yourself. Half of what you intake should be fruits and vegetables. Vegetables and fruits, actually. So vegetables a little more than fruits. Okay, and those are non-starchy vegetables. I take the starchy vegetables and put those in the whole grain category. Okay, whole grains 25%. So those starchy vegetables would be peas, corn, and potatoes. There's nothing wrong with these guys. It's just that they do in your body differently and a little closer to what whole grains do. And they've got fiber like whole grains. So, you know, Mother Nature didn't create foods thinking of our food plates and food categories. So, so this works really well to think how you should put things together. And then 1/4 for quality proteins, I like to call it. So that could be animal, that could be non-animal. So, so what percentage should be from plants? What? 75, actually, if you add in the whole grain there.
Oh,
So this is a really good starting point. There are some people that might want to, you know, decrease the whole grain, but be careful there because what people think are whole grain usually aren't. That's just, we just kind of had that little discussion. Most people are eating very refined carbs, and those aren't doing so well for the body. Okay, but if we were eating truthfully whole grain, we wouldn't need too much. Okay, we're not talking a big bowl, but it should be, it could be a little bit, but mostly fruits and vegetables on there, sort of thing. So, so it takes time, guys, to pivot these things. It does. I'm always pivoting them to, I'm getting more fresh fruit at dinner time. I'm finding it ripe and I'm just like, I'm cutting that up and putting that out there for the kids who need to take from. So, oh, get some water. And I have a lot of, you know, vegetable in there and the protein, but I've started even adding more fruit that way too. So you find different ways, and fruit should be in there. I don't want anybody to start thinking, oh, fruit has sugar. Oh, no, it's encompassed by fiber, guys. When you get a whole fruit, it's fantastic. How many of you have had a mango? Oh my goodness. Isn't that like my son's like, just, that's all I want. Ripe mango, he could just live off of. It's just so good when it's right there, ripe. So tonight I had some peaches that one of the patients yesterday gave out, oh, off his tree in his backyard. Oh my goodness, so good. I mean, it's just bursting with flavors and it has texture, and so, okay. So plant-focused eating, these are just some categories that we talk about. There's no real category I want to like push you towards. So all of these could easily be very healthy, optimally healthy, okay? And I don't really think of myself as one category. If you had to put me, I'd put flexitarian. I had chicken last night, okay? Did I make it? No. Do I ever make it? Not really. But my daughter, she made homemade pita bread and chicken, marinated in lime and garlic, not lime, lemon and garlic. It was her first time cooking chicken, I'm making homemade pita bread. Of course I'm gonna eat it. So we were missing some greens, but it was a lot of fun. So I don't go out of my way to eat meat, but if it's there, if somebody's made it, I'll have a little bit. So normally I have plant-based as my proteins. So I do eat fish, so that's in there. So I don't eat a lot of cheese and dairy, but it's there. It's just not that often. So I've learned, I used to do a lot of cheese, but I've learned to get away from that. So, and it's not, it's just, you pivot, you just find ways of things you love and you start to figure out, wow, I'm not eating as much cheese. I never set out to eat less cheese. I just ate more dishes that didn't have it on and that were full of flavor.
So you cut off the cheese to eliminate the fat for the cholesterol?
Saturated
Yeah.
fats. Yeah, saturated fat mostly. So we do find in the blue zones, the blue zones are people that live over 100 and they do have like dairy from the land. So I'm not against that. I'm not trying to avoid dairy, but I'm not trying to make sure I have it every meal or every time. So I'm not worried about my calcium and bone. I'm monitoring that and I make sure I get my vitamin D and I get plenty of greens. So that's going to get me my calcium. So broccoli and spinach and things like that have a lot of calcium. So yeah.
Do you think it's important to buy organic fruits and vegetables?
You are getting ahead. So we will get to that. Thank you, Carol. So phyto means plant in Greek, okay? And plants, real quickly, are so fantastic and filled with so many things. Right now, we believe there's about 40,000 phytonutrients, or I like the word chemical, even though that might make the hair stand up on your back, because it's just a compound. It's a bioactive compound. It's made in Mother Nature, phytochemicals. Phytonutrient, the word nutrient in there tells me it's something we need for living. You don't need them, but you need them to prevent disease, okay? Phyto compounds, chemicals, whatever you want to call them, they are the plant's defense systems against all those things that it encounters in a lifetime, like rainstorms, like pollution, like nibbling pests, okay? Think about it. Plants are amazing. They're this teeny little seed that planted in the ground, some sunshine and a little water. They grow to bring, whatever they bring, fruit or their kind of plant component, their leaf component. So, but they do this only because they know how to wither all these things. And the reason they wither, they get damaged, okay? A rainstorm's going to damage them. But they have antioxidants to repair. So they have the anti-inflammatory compounds to protect. The bitterness of the kale, if you're a teeny tiny ant and you bite into that kale stem, what are you going to do? You going to take another bite? Oh no. Okay? It's Mother Nature's defense system against deer and ants and insects and things like that. It's amazing. And we get wonderful properties when we eat it. We get antioxidants. Antioxidants are noted by their color. Deep colors are the antioxidants. Now, plants that don't have deep colors, they still have a lot of stuff to give you too, antibacterial and anti-inflammatory. A lot of these things will fight against cancer. Cancer has 10 steps to it. So plants fight different steps in the whole process. They help against heart disease. They have fiber. They have all these things. So when we eat plants, we get the defense systems that have helped the plants wither all this stuff. Radiation, sun. They have to stand out there in the blaring sun. We get to go indoors. We're pretty wimpy compared to a plant. But when you eat it, that's what you're getting. So 40,000, we believe there are. We've only studied a couple hundred really well. And those are the ones that you hear, carotenoids and things. Those are phytochemicals. So they also have fiber. Only plants have fiber, not animals. Fiber is fantastic. We cannot chop it and digest it because you have to chop it to building blocks to digest, unless you're a cow. Cows can digest fiber. we can't. And you're like, well, what's the use? It slows down your digestion so that your blood sugar doesn't spike up. So that's one thing at the beginning of the process. But as you go, the fiber will make your stool a nice consistency. It will scrape the sides to keep any guys that get into trouble along your colon intestines out of there. So it kind of cleans your colon. It keeps things moving, because if you don't move it, guess what's going to happen to that stool? It's going to sit and not get down, okay? And you're going to have constipation. So it also gets to your large intestine, okay? The large intestine is just before your rectum, so it's just before it goes out the other end. And the large intestine is about 5 feet long, pretty open, wide opening, because it needs that stool in there. And that is your immune system in there. 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your large intestine in the form of bugs. Okay, not bugs like we see on our table, but not here. But they're you can't see them. But that's your immune system. 70, 80% is in your colon, and you're feeding these bacteria with the fiber. That's what they love. Now they'll eat sugar too. But if you feed them sugar, guess what? Is the good kind going to grow, or the not so good kind going to grow? Not so good. It's just like you're building a garden or a weeds. Okay. So your bacteria are wonderful defense, and we're still discovering. And there's all kinds of products out there that think that they are going to. We are just on the tip of the iceberg, guys, with our gut. So any products out there are probably jumping the gun just a little bit. So we don't even know. We don't even have tests to test for like 99% of the bacteria in there. So, okay. So plants are going to decrease your LDL through nitrates and fiber, going to decrease triglycerides, manage your blood pressure. One of the easiest ways to manage your blood pressure is not just lowering your sodium. I'd say it's tied, or even better, is by eating potassium in fruits and vegetables. You just by eating a variety of fruits and vegetables, you're going to up your potassium. You really should have a 2 to 1 of your potassium to sodium, ideally, but that's really hard in our food supply. But our blood pressure, we'd have no problem if we did that. So, okay. So protein, a lot of people get a little worried about the protein because, oh my goodness, we've been convinced that we need animals to make sure we're strong and healthy. Okay, so not true. Okay, and this researcher, I listened to the podcast, he confirmed it. He did forwards and backwards protein and plant and vegan, and he said people are getting. So the exception is if you have a disease that's putting you at risk for protein. Occasionally women up in their 70s, if they're just not eating a lot, period, then they're probably, we got to make sure they're getting enough protein. So, but most everybody's getting enough. We have plenty, and things like tofu, nuts, beans, edamame that we tried out last week. I actually have edamame in the freezer if you want to put it in the. Let's read the directions. My fault. So, and I got bird's eye, which doesn't have salt added. Yes. So let's try that. Yes, let's try that. So, and quinoa, remember, has a lot of protein. Vegetables have a teeny bit, so it adds up, guys. So we have enough, okay? I'm not worried about it whatsoever. Now, these are ones that may be of concern. They're not big red flags, but if you're vegan, meaning no fish, no dairy, these are ones that maybe, and most everybody probably is deficient in vitamin D just because where we live, unless you're downing cod liver oil. Anybody downloading cod liver oil? No. Okay. Those are the Norwegians that usually do that. So vitamin D is very hard to come by because we convert it on our skin, but we aren't high enough above the equator to convert like we need to. So I take vitamin D supplement. So, but I had my blood tested first because vitamin D isn't this thing that you can just take supplements and automatically think it's going to increase. It's individual as to whether how it responds to supplements. So you want to ask your doctor. It's not costly for a blood test for vitamin D. Then they will give you a prescription or tell you. I got a prescription right away, and I did it for 6 weeks, and then got a blood test, and then I went down, and I just commonly supplement, but I'm way down from what the prescription was. But we confirmed that I had gone up enough into a safe zone. So calcium, if you're getting a lot of greens, you're probably getting enough calcium. That is in dairy products too. It's a great source, but otherwise it gets a little tricky. Tofu, actually, tonight is a good source of calcium, and we'll talk about that. Iron is something, all of us need to watch for. Some people do overproduce it. There's a condition, especially in males, that's carried. It can be carried in females, but we see a lot more in males. And vitamin B12 actually is something I do supplement too, because if you're a vegan or vegetarian and very kind of whole food based, you may not be getting the B12. I told my doctor and she's like, just take a supplement. I'm like, so I wanted my blood tested, but what she's saying is, well, you aren't eating meat, so you're probably like deficient in it, and it's easy to replace. So I get it, but I like numbers. So, I make sure with your supplements, if you do supplements, that you get one that's third-party verified. The USP or NSF are organizations that do third-party testing. Because supplement industry, it's like 90%, if it's not tested, it's better than 90% is fraudulent. In other words, they stuff it with stuff that there's not supposed to be in there. So you're not getting what you think. Plus you might be getting things you end up allergic to. So you got to be careful. Milk. Okay, milk here, what I want to make sure is that if you're doing some of the milk alternatives, you're aware of whether they have protein or calcium, because our traditional dairy, a lot of people use for protein and calcium. And if you go to rice milk, you're not going to get either of those. Okay, so almond milk, not so great. It's a little better. Soy is definitely better in protein and a little bit in calcium. Tofu is actually stronger. So just read the labels, see what and I'm a no for coconut. Okay, coconut I just want to bang my head. People think it's healthy. I'm like, show me the studies. I've looked at them forwards and backwards. When I used to teach master students, I had them research it and we came with the same conclusion. I'm like, where are people getting that this is healthy? Okay, if you compare coconut to beef, yes, okay, that would be a little healthier step. But there's a much healthier step. Don't eat it, okay? So there's I might use, I'm still looking for a good curry recipe that doesn't use coconut cream or something. So if you know of one, let me know, because I'd love to make a good curry. But I'm just not gonna do it. I've got the genes for heart disease. I'm like, I am not having, and it has more saturated fat than whole milk, okay? So 1 cup of coconut milk has 5 grams. Dairy, whole milk has 4.5. Or did I say that right? Coconut has 5 and dairy has 4.5. So it outdoes whole milk with saturated fat. So, okay. So getting to your question, Carol. Okay, we see these charts a lot of times, articles are written on them, and they catch our eye. Are they true? They're not false, but they're not entirely making the whole picture. They test these products, and then they make this list, and strawberries sadly always ends up at the top. But guys, strawberries is still like 100 times lower than what is recommended. So I don't freak out about strawberries. I eat traditional. Every time I look at the price difference, I'm like, oh, no, can't do that. Can't do organic. It's just so expensive. So if I had unlimited budget, would I do organic? Yes. There might be a slight difference in some of the nutrients there. Wild things have more phytochemicals. Yes. So wild blueberries, I splurge on every other time. I've got this system. Every other time I'll buy wild blueberries. So, because wild blueberries have to grow in the wild. Well, kind of, if you look at it, they're not like really out in the wild west, but, and they're smaller. If you ever looked at wild blueberries, they're much smaller. So they have more skin, and most of your phytochemicals are in the skin because that's the closest to the heat and the pollution and the damage that happens. Okay, so most Mother Nature makes around that layer close to the skin. That's why eating the skin is important. So clean 15, just if you rinse your vegetables. Yes.
You're saying then that the dairy does have a lot of added chemicals in their production.
No, what I'm saying is it's tricky to make it out to Dirty Dozen is like bad and clean and good, okay? Because conventionally grown is going to have some residue of pesticide. It's way lower than what is the FDA has recommended. All of these are way lower. But here's the thing, even organic is going to use some pesticides too. And I'm not knocking organic farmers, but it's really tricky. And have a conversation with an organic farmer. It's really tricky to get verified. And then they find all these other farmers that are doing it differently. And they're, it's just really tricky, guys. So what the bottom line to me always is just eat fruits and vegetables, guys. Okay. And rinse them off. Okay. So it's like comparing a barge to a little Fiat. And I say that because my dad had a Fiat when I was growing up. It was the tiniest. We held it together with duct tape. So so bless him, duct tape was like our go-to tool. So, but it's just like, there's no comparison, guys. Eat fruits and vegetables. In a, imaginary world, yes, I would do organic. But there's not even available organic in many things, okay? So, and I'm not always convinced that I'm getting like grown in the backyard, okay? No offense again to organic farmers. They work very hard and it's good things they do for our environment. We're not even talking about that. So I just want you to know, don't let this scare you because I have seen this scare you. I got a phone call from my sister many years ago, went on some show like Dr. Oz, they were talking about this and all of a sudden she's like, I'm not eating fruits and vegetables. I'm like, so
on your graph up there, so the Dirty Dozen supposedly, is that the non-organic?
yeah, those are non-organic ones. So so it's kind of 2 points that it mixed in there. You're correct. So yes.
But if they're among the Dirty Dozen, just go ahead and wash them off.
Yeah, and you don't need to use a produce wash because we actually haven't tested those. I'm not saying they're dangerous. It's just that they may not do what they promise. Water does it for the most part. So, yeah. So just, water, do rinse. So, okay. So what do we do to get more plants? How do we make it easier? So, these, I'm going to show you 6 strategies and I want you to just pick out one. Okay. Remember, we're doing baby steps. One that you're like, ooh, that's going to be the easiest for me to start working in fruits and vegetables. So first thing is start treating animal protein as a side dish. Okay. So it's called a reverse flip. Actually, the guy I was listening to this podcast, I got lots of good points from the podcast. He's working with the Culinary Institute to come up with it. And he says it's just amazing, the delicious, he used words, I need to record what he said. It was like delectable, ravishing, all these great, he's just like, you were drooling after you heard him describe the dishes that the Culinary Institute with him has paired up with. So, and the center of the dish is plants. So, and they have full of flavor. So can we start just focusing on what are you having for dinner? Is it, is it bruschetta? So, one of my favorite all-time dishes is bruschetta. So, what is it? Pesto, sweet cauliflower salad. Okay, you learned that in the diabetes class because that's a to die for, another to die for salad. Roasted veggies, wraps. I mean, what if you just had that in the menu and just happened to add protein, animal or otherwise, but you focused on the plant? So that's one way. So stocking your kitchen zone. So this really comes from class 2. So with plant options, do you have your kitchen set up so you can easily just on the fly make something with plant? So do you have it? Go back to class 2 to see if you can stock. So, okay, we have these here. So let me put on a glove and let me show you how we do this. And we'll take this, we'll pass these around. I'm going to add just a little bit of, just a teeny bit of rice vinegar. like I said, okay. Oh, well, you know what? I'm almost done here. So let me go because I want everybody at home. Sorry, guys at home, I'm confusing you. Veganize your favorite dishes. So what are ways that you can veganize get it up to 75% plants in a dish? Can you, add some, did I skip one? No. Okay. I guess I don't. Let's go previous. Stock up. Okay, stock up. Okay, veganize. So adding veggies. Can you just add mushrooms? Can you just add some, zoodles to it? Can you add some of the soya? We're going to talk about soya. One of you has soya product there. So what are some things that you can do to add in nutritional yeast instead of Parmesan cheese? Okay. If you come to the heart to heart on Tuesday, where we're going to talk about what happens when you call 911 because somebody you love is experiencing a heart attack, Adam Sowell is going to talk about what happens in the EMS system and what to be doing while you're waiting for the emergency to get there. And I'm going to serve popcorn made on the stove without oil and topped with nutritional yeast. Okay. So instead of salt. So just think about ways. So meal planning, prepping your plant. So we've been talking about this, but can you meal prep once or twice during the week? What works for you? We were talking about this today. Both Tanya and I are big preppers on Sunday, and we love our Sundays. And we have our routines down. And when we go out of town, so that really upsets, we like to go out of town, but we also like to have our Sundays. So it sets us up for a great week. So Sunday may not work for you, but the point is both Tanya and I have worked a long time, years to figure out what works for us to set us up for success during the week. So just be patient and figure out what that is for you. Think about a meal that you wanted to start doing 100% plants. Breakfast for a lot is the easiest, but you can change it up too. Do a veggie frittata. You can do, of course, oatmeal smoothies, things like that. You could do lunch and look at wraps and bowls and soups and things like that and salads. So, dressing up a salad. I just hate the word salad because a lot of people think just boring lettuce. So, chai puddings you can make sort of thing. So, and then just sneaking in more veggies. Okay. The last time I had pasta, I put it on a bed of greens. Oh, have you ever done that? Probably not. But who says you can't? So I needed more greens. And I just well, I'm not going to notice it. I have pasta there. I'm just going to stick the fork in and go, it's going to be delicious. I'll get greens. Okay. It's going to fill me up. So just start thinking under pretty much every time I serve fish, I serve it on either like a coleslaw cabbage kind of thing or chopped up greens. Because again, it looks beautiful and it's just easy to take a bite and take some veggies with it. So that way I easily get it in. How can you just layer in veggies, just adding more layers to a sandwich, tacos, adding more veggies that way. So, okay, so think about right now, what is your one takeaway? And I'd love for those at home for you to send in the chat there what your takeaway so far we talk about. We're going to get cooking really quickly here. And then we have the action step, those here, go ahead and write it and Tanya will collect it and then start thinking about your action step. I'm going to get off because I want to eat the soy edamame here. Let's see. While you guys are doing that, I will. Okay. So here's my edamame. So we heated that up. It looks a little better than last week's. Oh, okay. So you guys at home can see there. maybe. Okay, so I'm just going to add a skosh of rice vinegar because that brings out the salt just a little bit, like half a teaspoon. You could add a seasoning. Of course, we're going to encourage a non-salt. So, okay, last time I like choked practically on this. So these are cooked. So you just take it and you pull it through your teeth. So what you're doing is actually tasting whatever seasoning you put on the outside and then leaving the skin in the outside. There we go. There I got the beans out. So that's much better. So it's the beans from edamame that are shelled. So we can, we'll have you guys try those. It'll be a half an hour, but you're gonna try it. They're still cooked. So, okay. So let me get ready here and let's get started with the rice for the salmon sushi. Let's get that cooking. We're gonna do that and then let's see what we're gonna do. What should we do? What should we do? Okay, we'll do the hoisin sauce and do the collards then. The hoisin-like sauce. So, but let's get the brown rice going. Oh, tofu. Yes, we've got the tofu. Oh my goodness, we've got the tofu. Okay, so here I wanted to, let me get this. So I'll show you guys, this is UHT soy milk. So I just brought this because it's much less processed than the soy milk you get in the refrigerated section that has a paragraph of ingredients. So this is the one from, this is from Walmart. I know it's huge honking, but that's what they have at Walmart. Like I said last week, I go to Trader Joe's to get the smaller ones when I can. Where's my settings? Settings, device settings, and camera. There we go. Room camera. Okay. Okay. So, okay, the rice. So I'm going to make a double batch of the rice. I'm going to make 4 cups. So it's 2 cups of water. I'm going to get boiling here. So this is parboiled brown rice. So raw brown rice that is not parboiled. Parboiled just means cooked a little bit and then stopped. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm doing 4 cups of brown or 2 cups of brown. Well, what am I doing?
I don't know what you're making.
4 cups. 4 cups of brown rice and 4 cups of water. I'm going to bring to a boil here. So, and that will take about 12 minutes to make. So normally brown rice is closer to 40 minutes, depending on how much you make. So if you have a rice cooker, it's really nice, but rice cookers are expensive. It's on my son's birthday list. So they can, I mean, I have a big one that's $150 at home. So I've had it for probably 15 years. So it's really nice though, because you just start it any time of the day and it's ready and hot when you need it at the end of the day. So, okay. So colliard, let's do the hoisin-like sauce. So the hoisin-like sauce, this has a nice kick. I'm going to make, I always make like 4 times when I make it because I put it in a squeeze bottle. Or you can put it in like one of the little jars, like this, the little ones, and shake it up and then put it in the refrigerator. So I'll do that because I use this all the time. I put it on my tofu, I put it in if I just need some kick on something. So we're gonna add peanut butter, just regular peanut butter, just to keep things easy. If you want to use old-fashioned, that's fine. It's just, I know a lot of people that's, stirring it and all that is a little intimidating. So I've got, what do I have? I have a little bit, okay, I have a little bit of honey or molasses for that hoisin-like flavoring. I have,
I thought you called it what? I'm sorry.
Thai sweet chili sauce. I use that. We'll use that in another recipe. You don't have to. I'm using this as a little bit to give it a little pizzazz, that Thai chili sauce there. So, and then smoked paprika and ginger to give it some smoky-ish flavor and kick a little bit, that ginger. And then coconut aminos instead of soy sauce. Light soy sauce is not going to get you down to this. This is coconut liquid aminos. So liquid aminos is higher sodium than coconut liquid aminos. Don't ask me why, but it is. 1 teaspoon is 140 milligrams of sodium. Okay. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce is around 900. And yes, and low sodium gets around 590. So you can see why we need to get it down. And soy sauce, I love to use that in, dressings. So, okay. So we've got from our takeaways, eat more veggies, but seaweed and tofu kind of scare me. Okay, I like your honesty. Eating fruits with skin on, full of phytochemicals. Yes. Think of meat as a side dish. Ooh, I like that. See Tanya at the end of class if you want to sign up for the heart to heart. So yes, Tanya, she does that. So, and both her and I are in charge of the heart to heart events. So we can get you set up for that. So this is an exciting one. They all are, but this is cool. Looking at the first 5 things of food labels and ingredients. Yes. Be sneaky with fruits and vegetables. Ooh. Making meat a side dish. Yes. So that is a mindset change. Getting a better idea about fruits and vegetables, the benefits and how it can fight disease. Yeah. And knowing the mix of saturated fat per day, or the max, yes. And low tech plant is key to nutrition health. It is. It's that simple.
Now online we have 61 code words for sugar.
Oh yes, isn't that amazing? Just bah. So okay, so we're just gonna mix this up. Oh, we need water, because the water, again, the water is to dilute it, not so much the flavor, but just so that we only use a little bit. It's got kick, it's got flavor, so you just need a little bit to add to something. So I'm just going to get a workout with my arm here and whisk it. You could put it in a blender, but I find it doesn't take too much to do this. I just may pull it back here a little bit so I don't spray you guys.
What's in the book here?
Oh, that's a hoisin-like sauce?
This hoisin peanut sauce.
Okay, you may have an older,
I will write first.
you must have the older, because that was my the original recipe that I used, that I made up, had hoisin in it, but hoisin sauce is so high. Iron Chef is the only, it's not, I wouldn't even use the word low, but, and it's just, I didn't want people to buy hoisin sauce just for this one recipe. So I'm like, smoked paprika kind of, and molasses or honey kind of. I'm like, we can do it. So I think it's really good.
What are you making right now?
I'm making hoisin-like peanut sauce. So for the wraps. So what's that?
Did you go over these out?
Yes.
Okay.
So good.
Wait.
Yes. Okay, so that we're going to use in the wraps. So, we've got boiling water. So let's go ahead and add the rice. So let's get a timer on for, got that going.
Yeah, if I put that one here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going. So let's talk tofu, because I know you're so excited for that. So, okay, I got tofu. Okay, so I just had some tofu before I got here. I usually make 2 bricks of tofu a week for me and my son, but he's gone now. So tofu, the great thing about tofu is it's inexpensive, and it's got fiber and calcium and protein, and it's minimally processed. So the ingredients are water, number 1, soybeans, number 2, and number 3, calcium sulfate. That's it. All right, that's minimally processed. So the calcium sulfate is just an enzyme that used to coagulate the soybeans into the brick. So what else do you know that's coagulated milk into a brick? Huh? Cheese. So they're cousins. You didn't know. They're cousins. So I just drained off the water off of here. There's water to keep it. So, and it is very spongy and got water in there. So what we want to do is get the water out, because we want to put flavor in it, because it's not going to absorb anymore. It's been sitting in water. So it's maxed out in water. So what we want to do is, let me show you the easiest way to do this. So Normally at home, I use a dish towel. I don't have a dish towel here because we can't, because we don't have a laundry service specifically for the kitchen. So what I do is I cut it up because like all the time, I'm either using these slabs, and if I use cubes, I will just cut one of the slabs up into cubes. So I always start here. So what I do then is I take my dish towel and I lay it out. And I'm just going to show you 4 for now, so we keep going. But I lay out my 4. I lay out all 8. But then I fold over my dish towel, press it down. Then I take a cutting board. I set it on top. And then I find some dishes, a stack of heavy dishes, and I put it on top. Why did I do that?
Cleaned up.
Yep. Yep. You can do a baking sheet if you've got a lot of, but if you look online, a lot of people will just use a brick and but this has got more, this does it quicker, guys. I've spread out the surface area. Actually, my daughter, what?
How long is that?
Half an hour is typically what most people will squeeze out for. Can you leave it for what?
How much do you expect to squeeze out of that? Reduce the volume by half?
No, you could, but that would take all day. But you could. And that's those, but if I want it really thin, I would do it all day for like a mock meat on a sandwich or something. So, but most recipes, like all of them on the internet, are going to pretty much assume about half an hour. Okay. Because then you want to get the marinade and suck it up some. Okay. So it's just, it is noticeable, but it's not super noticeable. Okay. If that makes sense. So, but it's enough to definitely make a difference in your recipe, in how they are. So,
What firmness level?
okay, this is extra firm. So thank you for bringing it up, Shane. You usually have 3 choices, 2 choices, 4 choices. The difference: soft, firm, extra firm, extra firm. I don't know. The difference is water. It's how much calcium they put in their sulfate to absorb and make it. I usually grab for extra firm because I like the outer to be a little crusty, so I never have really noticed a difference between firm and extra firm.
Your cooking
Okay.
camera's not on now.
Oh, there, I think it is now.
Your cooking camera.
Oh, the camera. Oh, what did we do? Oh, shoot.
It's not blinking it.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, shoot. Okay, we're back on. So, okay. So, so that's the difference in them. You also bring up another point. There's another type of tofu called Japanese or silken. It doesn't have the word Japanese, but if you look in the literature written about it online, they'll call it Japanese because this is more prominent in the Japanese culture. A little bit, maybe so, but it's a different. It's coagulated with a different enzyme. It's not as high in calcium because it's not a calcium. It's a gluconate enzyme. So, but it's still high in protein and fiber, and it doesn't need to be refrigerated. Although Hy-Vee likes to put it in the refrigerator, it doesn't need to be. Okay, it's kind of like a UHT. It's not UHT, but it's like that. So you just slide it out, and it's silken, and you'll see. I want you to see the difference here because it is silken. Look at that. Isn't that silken? Okay. Dang. You guys just what did you just do? Sorry. This is fabulous in puddings, smoothies, dips, and making cheesecake. You can make, and nobody will know the difference, cheesecake with this. Okay, I am dead serious. I used to experiment a lot with desserts back in the 90s, and I would make cheesecake, chocolate, regular, raspberry with this tofu. So, and this also has soft, firm, and extra firm. It's, again, the water is the difference. I usually go for the firm. You also might use this for a soup to just break it up. People won't even hardly know it's there. You could use this too, but in general, when you see a recipe online, they're usually going to have a silken that you break up into a soup. You can just break it up, okay, into pieces. It will absorb the flavor, okay? So, but I use this for a chocolate mousse that I make. So you have to go to, Hy-Vee does carry that, but half the time I don't know where it is. So I usually go to a health food store to get that. It just stays forever too. It's got at least a 3-4 month shelf life for it. Usually this tofu has like, this is September 24th. So I got it the other day. So you got a month at least. So again, it's cheap, it's convenient. So we then marinate it. So I've got my marinated tofu over here. So can you move? Sorry, I know we're moving along. So I made marinades for these. You have them in your book. So, and let me just kind of share the ingredients here. So for this one, this is a marinade, and tonight, if you want to tonight, you can eat this without cooking. Okay, I know, I know. Sorry, Shane. I can't look at you.
Next time you need to sit back here, space.
Wait until your kids think you're cooking SpongeBob.
So there's nothing wrong with, I just want you to know you don't need to cook this. It's not like eating raw meat, guys. This is just the way it is. So, but most people will cook it, and you could just take this and toss it in a pan and get a, kind of a crispy outer to it. I use this marinade to make my tofu at lunch that I had. I cooked it like we're going to cook this tonight. Okay. So this pretty much absorbed it all, because that's the point of it. This one is less liquid. So it pretty much absorbed it all. You could put this in a bowl, in a wrap. You can eat this in your roasted veggies, that kind of thing. But you could cook it or bake it if you wanted. And tofu is similar to meat in that it's all about how you like it cooked. Okay? Do you like the soft, spongy texture? Or do you like a little of a thin kind of firmness? Or do you like really firm? If you want it really super rock hard, bounce off the counter, then you want to toss it in cornstarch or arrowroot. Problem with arrowroot, you can't ever use any dairy product, but I love arrowroot. They suck up a lot of absorption, but just like a tablespoon for one brick, if you toss it in and then bake it, it will be very hard. It'll still be a little soft in the center, but it will be rock hard on the outside. So I have learned to air fry my tofu lately. So I used to do it all baking or sauteing. So the air fryer is just so nice. I can put 8 at a time in there in my air fryer, and then you just leave it, and then I'll come back and for 8 minutes, I'll come back and I'll flip them. It might be an hour later, and then I'll flip them, do 8 minutes, and then I'll forget about them for a couple hours, and they're fine. Okay, this is not meat, guys. So it's so convenient. So in this marinade, we have a little bit of toasted sesame oil, because that just gives it a little touch of flavor. It's like a half a teaspoon. Okay, and actually sesame oil is actually a good oil. It's not as good as extra virgin olive oil, but I really only use it for the flavor. If you want an authentic Asian flavor, you need to have a little bit of toasted sesame. So we've got ginger in there. We've got some of the coconut liquid aminos. We've got some you can just get any Thai chili. Sometimes there's another brand that's big that I get at the Asian stores. You just want a thick, sweet, something with a little garlic in it. Okay, yes. Well, yes, this has a little hot to it. So just back it down.
Peppers on the side.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, look for, and go to the Asian store here too and ask them too. So the Asian store is so fun. Just don't get the durian. Okay. So durian is a fruit in the Philippines that, oh my goodness, it's like crazy. It's fun. It's fun. I've had it before. So, but there's a lot, that's where I get my baby bok choy. It's really good there and super inexpensive. They have tofu, some of this brand, but some kind of more mom and poppy. So they have to die for mango, and then they have shelves of rice noodles and other things. So, so this marinade, what I used there was honey, apple cider vinegar. So that's got a sweeter kind of flavor. These 3 spices, ground cumin, smoked paprika, you can use just regular paprika, but I am fanatic about smoked paprika, garlic powder and chili powder, no salt. Don't get Tones and McCormick chili powder, okay? So, because they have salt. They don't even list it, but they add it, trust me. So just get another brand that you can read and it says no salt. Jalapeno, this is optional. It doesn't really add a lot of kick. It just adds a little bit of flavor to it. You just use a spoon to get the seeds out. Once you get the seeds out, you just pat it down, flatten it, and chop it up. Okay, and then put it in there. It's a real nice addition. If you don't have it, just go ahead without it. So these are the things that we put together in the marinade. I marinated just probably like an hour and a half ago. So, and I usually marinate in a pan. I don't like using baggies because again, the environment, but here it makes sense because I can toss it out. You know, I put it in and I just I make sure I turn it at least once so it sucks up on the other side. So here I can just kind of, you know, work it. So here I'll just cook these in a second. So this will have out, if you want to go ahead and Tanya, when you get a chance, put this in a bowl to serve. So, but like I said, if you want to taste that great and you're like, okay, the taste is okay, but it'd be a lot better if it was cooked. Well, then cook it. Okay. So, okay. So Colliard wraps, and then I want to cook this in salmon sushi or the salmon sushi bowls. So, okay, let's do Colliard wraps. Okay. So, and we need to take this off. Okay. And let's get this going. So let me actually go here. Don't like that. Here. So I'm going to get the water boiling to blanch the Colliard wraps. So here's the Colliard leaves. So they can get to be really big. I picked some nice ones. They can get to be like this big, like elephant ear size. So, and that's fine. You can use them. And we've got some bigger ones here that I've prepped already. So a Colliard wrap, we want to use it as the outer wrap. Okay, this is a green. It's great. It's got so much great stuff going for it, but it's bitter. Okay, so we got to get that out. So we're going to get the stem a little bit out. We're not going to quite do it like kale. We're going to cut this off. And then we can't wrap it. We can't roll it. We got to break it down a little bit. So we're going to do that blanching. But before I do that, on the back, you see how this is raised up here? It's got that spine. We're going to do away with that. Now, I could take a paring knife and just work on that, but no fun there. So instead, we're going to take our chef's knife and we're just going to go boom. And there, I broke it. So now it's a little better, but I'm going to also blanch it, which is going to take down some of the bitter flavor. And it's going to also pop the air bubbles near the surface so it brightens up the color. So we're just going to do that. And once that boils, we're going to do that. Blanching. So blanching does a couple things. Blanching kills the enzymes that make the vegetable, even there raw, start going bad. So, so blanching, what you do is we're going to heat it for 30 seconds, and then we're going to put it in cold water and stop it. And in that brief time, we will have made the flavor a little milder, done away with some of the bitterness. We will have made it brighter green, and we will have stopped some of the enzymes, killed them, that make it go bad. It doesn't mean it won't ever go bad, but we've really slowed it down a lot. So chefs will oftentimes do this. This is their cheat way of getting vegetables prepared for the evening. They'll blanch them and then just chill them so that they don't have to go through the whole cooking process because they have pressure to get food out. So blanching is one of their secrets, and you can always do that. You can blanch something. Yes, it's not the same as raw, but it's just a very brief cooking time. It's not, you're not making it soft. It's just very light. So we're going to blanch this, and you can do this ahead. Like you could do this for the whole week. Make wraps for lunch. So you see, I have done these for us to use tonight, and I just put them with paper towels. You could do parchment between it, put this in a baggie, and put it in the refrigerator, and you'd have them ready to go all week. So they would keep all week. So, but you can see how this is now. We can roll with this, and it's bright green. So, and the flavor is milder. So this is just it's a way of having a wrap, but this is not your wrap like tortilla wrap that has all those carbs refined and things. So this is just a great way to add nutrition in the same way having your vegetables in there. So here we're going to make a wrap. I'm going to that's boiling now. So let's go ahead. I'm going to drop those two. I can drop two at the same time in there. 30 seconds. You don't want to accidentally go to 10 minutes with this because there is such a thing as over blanching, then it's not really blanching. So you don't need to put a timer on, but I put about 1 inch of water in there. If I was doing all 20, I would do probably 2 inches. The water just turned a teeny bit of green, you'll notice. But I'm going to flip that over in about 5 seconds and get the other side. You can see it's starting to turn green. And then I would have cold water to dip that in. We don't really have cold water, but we'll fake that we have cold water.
Yeah.
So, and once you put it in cold water, you can let it sit for an hour if you want to go multitask something else. So it's just that we can't cook it for a long time because then you're gonna go beyond blanching. So we're just gonna do a little bit more there. That's pretty good. Even if you're talking, oh, it turned it off on me. That's why. Oh, you silly stuff. So, okay.
So sorry.
I know. I don't know where it's got. I guess it's got a spot there. So it doesn't like water on itself. So we're just going to put that in our ice cold water, baking that it is.
Pretend there's cubes.
Yeah. So there we go. So, and stop talking to me. So, okay. So we're going to wrap with our beautiful hoisin like sauce. Where did it go? Right here? Yes, there we go. So we're going to use this. So, and hummus. Let's see, hummus in the refrigerator. Can you grab that? So we did store-bought hummus. Homemade, of course, is much better, but sometimes you don't have time.
I made the same.
So this is going to have more salt, more oil than you would. And the oil that's used in there is not sourced from, I don't know that it's EVOO, okay? So, but, I'm going to use it in here. You have to make compromises because you want to actually have time to, get going. Okay, so we're going to make a wrap. So here, I'm just going to put this wrap here. Hopefully you guys can see it at home good. So I am going to put the hummus down first. So I'm just going to put the hummus just kind of like right there, not all the way at the end. And I'm going to fill things this way. So just like that. And then I'm just going to take some real thin sticks of carrots. And let's get some moisture from the cucumber. Now, if you were making this in the morning, I would probably not put cucumber on for lunch just because it's going to make it pretty moist. You could do the pepper and the carrot, though. I think that would be fine. Some scallion. And if you only have 2 of these ingredients, that's fine, too. So I love scallions. So, and then I have some mint here. In wraps like this, mint or basil is a really nice touch. Again, if you don't have it, it's fine. So if you want to sprinkle dried, you can sprinkle dried. So, and then we're going to finish off with just a little bit of the hoisin sauce. You could add some avocado. We'll have avocado. We've got some for if you want to taste some here today. So I'm just going to do like that. And then I'm going to start it here. Just kind of like burrito wrap. I can have it like that, but I want to show you show off how pretty this is. So voila. So
Your answer.
It reminds me of sushi.
yeah, well, totally. So and you could add rice, brown rice to there if you wanted to, quinoa. So imagination. Now the hoisin like sauce, it adds kick. You'll see. And if you want to put a little on your plate to just taste the hoisin like sauce. And you can always change things up. If you're like, Teresa, that's got way too much kick for me. So you could take out the Thai chili sauce or the ginger, bring it down. You make it so that it's you. So, and there's I have other peanut sauces too. Peanut sauces are very popular. That's why I use them. People just love them. So you can also use it as a dipping sauce. So if you wanted to wrap this without putting inside and just dip it, you can do that too. So, so this is just a fun way for a wrap. Yeah. So, okay, we've got tofu to cook up and salmon sushi. So, salmon sushi, we've got our rice for that done. So, I've got that here. I can try those. Okay, so let's see. Scoot this out. Here we go. Okay, salmon sushi is a quick. The first the summer that I made this recipe up, I took it to a music concert with my kids and my sister and her family. And he's a Wisconsin farmer, okay, a dairy farmer. Comes from a family, and he scarfed this down like you wouldn't believe. I was like shocked. So, but he really loved it. So, you know, it's got a lot of really, the flavors just meld together really well. You may be like, I'm not sure about that seaweed, or I'm not sure about the canned salmon, or I don't know, a sriracha in there. Well, just try it out. So, so we're going to the rice here. I'm making a double batch here, so that's why it looks like a ton. It was supposed to be like 4 cups. It looks like forever cups, but okay. So we've got the rice there. So we've got our grain, and this is actually like a dish that has everything together. So I'm going to mix in. I've got some rice vinegar with sugar, because if you're making sushi, there's a whole procedure where you have the fan on the rice, and you put the sugar, and you put the little bit of salt and all that. So we're kind of mock making it with rice vinegar with a little bit of sugar and a dash of salt in there. So we're going to mix that in there. And then I got super quick, so I'm going to use shredded carrots. I used 2 cans of salmon. This is Safe Catch salmon. So Safe Catch is a company, or Wild Planet, sorry, this is Wild Planet. The other company that I recommend is Safe Catch. So both these are good. They make sure the fish is not high in mercury. So we're just I just fluffed up 2 cans here. We're gonna add this in. Now, when you first do the salmon, open it up, it does smell very salmony. So, but it's just a paste. I tell you, once you taste it, you're like, wow. And so we've got our protein there, fish, a matter of fact. And then I'm going to add in my seaweed. So what I did is I just took, for each recipe, it's 12 of these snack sheets. And I have some extra here for anybody that wants to eat it. My daughter, she loves seaweed with rice for breakfast. She will take one. This is a thing kids do now. So they take one of these, and then they take their bowl of rice, and they just she actually uses chopsticks. I can't use chopsticks. But you grab the rice in there, roll it up, and just stuff it in your mouth. So she loves it. She'll take to school 1 whole pack of these for lunch. So, yep. So she loves it. Now, if you love potato chips, this is a good alternative to potato chips. I'm just saying, be open-minded. So it may not be exactly like potato chips. But the cool thing is, seaweed is minimally processed. Ingredient list, guys, drum roll, is, see if I can read it here. Where is it? Okay. Seaweed, canola oil, sesame oil, sea salt, rosemary extract. That's it.
Where do you get that?
You can get it both Walmart and Hy-Vee. I got this at Hy-Vee in the health food section. There is wasabi if you're interested in that. So, but Walmart has it too. Okay, and you get sheets too. And Walmart, it's the Asian section, top shelf usually, and Hy-Vee, it's just hidden all over in the health food section. So, but I just crumbled up. Remember, when you crumble, it's gonna stick to your fingers. Okay, so this only has 25 calories per sheet. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It had half a pack is 25 calories. A half a pack. half a pack is 25 calories, and 1 gram of fiber. So, and it,
How much salt?
it's not, 30 milligrams. And it tastes salty, okay? So I know, I always have to double check because it tastes salty to me, but it's not really that much. So, okay, then we're gonna add some cucumber. To add color, I did strips in the peel and then chopped it up really small. And then we're gonna add shredded carrots here. So now we've got veggies. You're welcome to add other veggies, spinach chopped up or whatever you want, but this is super easy, guys. And then our magic sauce is just gonna be, I'm just gonna mix it real quick here, is sriracha. If you wanna back down the sriracha, you can, okay? So my kids love sriracha. And coconut aminos and fresh lemon juice. You can use canned, jarred lemon juice. I like Trader Joe's, but we're just gonna mix that up. Those 3 ingredients, you can change the ratio if you want to. You could add a little rice vinegar too if you wanted to into that. And then we're gonna stir that, and that's gonna give us lots of good flavor in there, and that's it. So just have an open mind for this. We've got texture crunchy. We've got the protein in there, whole grain. So this is, you know, like I said, for a music concert, this was our meal. So it was really nice. So, okay, I'll let you finish mixing that. I'm gonna get the tofu going so everybody can see that done.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, wait, where's?
Yeah, I know. I need to get going with the tofu. We're gonna dump this. I'm gonna use a different pan. Just like that, but it's gonna be different. And we can actually, I can get 2 pans going. Actually, I think I'll do this and this. And I'm gonna do my trick instead of the non-stick because I hate cleaning these pans. So non-stick, just the cleaning and this heat with the stove is, yeah. We're just gonna put a little bit. I'm gonna use the paper towel to suck up because I got too much there, but we'll see. Okay, those 2 going. And I'm gonna shake out this is a marinade, and technically you could save the marinade, okay guys? I know, see, it's so fun when you don't have meat. You don't have to worry about all those things. So we're just gonna put that. Now, because it has some honey sugar in it, it is going to brown nicely and look like it's burnt. It's not, okay? So just don't be, you know, like, oh, I ruined it. You did. It's just, it will get dark because that's just the way it is. So we're gonna get going with this over here, and then we're gonna flip it. So, okay, I didn't give you the story. I actually have been doing tofu for like 25 plus years. My in-laws are Seventh-day Adventists, so minister, conservative. Okay, so if you know of anything about Seventh-day Adventists, the body is a holy temple, and so they're very about wellness. So and if you follow, usually they're either vegan or vegetarian, although you don't have to be, but that's their, and my in-laws are Filipino, and you know, the Philippines is the #1 fish per capita in the world, and they eat no fish. So it's crazy, but that's their belief. It's not crazy. So, but my point is, my mother-in-law is 93. She is not doing so well with Alzheimer's, but she's still at home with my father-in-law, who graciously is taking care of her. He's still a minister in his 90s, and you know, he cannot quit the cloth. But she taught me about tofu because she is from the Philippines. They grew up in the Philippines. They didn't come until they were in their 30s, 40s. They were missionaries for many years. Their first location was remote Laos. Okay, it doesn't get much more remote than that. Okay, you needed a helicopter to get to where they were. So she knows how to make raisins from grapes. She knows how to make these gluten balls. She knows she can make 400 spring rolls in an afternoon. She does that all the time. I don't know if she still does. I don't think so, but so my kids have grown up on tofu. They are normal kids that love places like Cane's that I don't understand, and chips and ice cream and all that, but they are used to tofu. And my son eats it because it's easy, and I taught him this summer, because he's now in his first apartment, how to make it just like I did you tonight, because he wants to make it. He's on a budget, and he doesn't have a car, and he doesn't live, he lives out from the university, so, he's going to figure it out. But it's a matter of what you're used to. It really is. And I know you didn't grow up with this, so it's going to take a while to get used to this idea, but you will. You don't have to eat tofu, but it just opens up the options, okay? So I make 2 bricks on Sunday. I usually marinate and then cook them, and then I'll toss them and things all throughout the week. I'm like, oh, I have the tofu, I'll just add that. I'll cube it up, or I'll heat it up, or like I ate it at room temperature in my office with roasted veggies, and I sprinkled on, I have this, I have the seasoning I use. It's basically ground up cashews, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, and onion powder. That's all it is. But I love it. It's like sprinkle on all kinds of things when I just need a little more something. So that's all I had for dinner tonight. So, because I'm behind, but I have it in my office. It's so easy, and I don't have to worry about temperature. So would I like it heated up? Yeah. So you can see how it's getting cooked more. It's getting bigger here, so it cooks quicker. So
I don't have any refrigerator after you cook it.
refrigerator after you cook it, yeah.
You do it because
Yeah, I do, but it sits on the counter for an hour, so, it's fine. So, and also, I have used it 10 days after I cleaned it. It's fine. If there's a little moisture on the container, you wipe that off. It's not that much is bad, the over moisture is not good. So, but, that's the cool thing. It's like, I'm tired. I got tofu. Great. What am I going to combine with it? So I know it sounds wild, but it's inexpensive, which I'm very conscious of. It's good for me. It's minimally processed, and I can make it taste good. I know how to make it taste good, and I've gotten used to the texture. If you were to use the other marinade, it wouldn't blacken like this because it doesn't have as much sugar as this. It would probably get a tad bit firmer. Okay, so you just figure out what you like. And if you do it in the air fryer, it's going to be a little different. If you do it in the oven, it's going to be a little different. So you just figure out what texture you like. So there we go. So we're almost getting close done here so that we can eat some here and try it out. Just try one, guys. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. So next week, we're going to be doing a mindful eating exercise. So those at home, you want to have 2 raisins or 2 chocolate chips. Works really well. Okay, 2 raisins or 2 chocolate chips. I will provide the food for you. So we will talk about mindful eating and really what it gives us when we mindfully eat. And then we'll talk about my other principle that's really important. And it means that you don't ever have to calorie count again. So, it's a really easy, and we're going to make some soups. So we're going to have a lot of fun with soups and chocolate. And what else? I know we're doing something. Oh, we're going to do a
chocolate, not.
So yes, so a lot of great stuff coming next week. So believe that your action step before you leave, figure out 1 or 2 things that you want to do. What? No, I did. Okay. So keep it up, guys. Just baby steps. Don't compare. Don't beat yourself up, guys. You're doing terrific. I promise you, you are exactly where you need to be right now to bring about the health you want to. You are here. You're doing things. You're doing just enough. So thank you guys. Thank you, my home audience there. I'm waving to you. Wave to you there somewhere. So send your questions. So I'd love to hear them. Thank you.